urban Portland, Oregon neighborhoods. We're coming to you, and there's no one in here yet. So, I don't have a big plan for today. Um, I'm just gonna walk a little bit to the store and live stream for just a couple minutes here. I think. I guess I'm talking to anybody who watches a replay of this later. I didn't come with a big plan today. I still didn't talk about the Missoula flood yesterday, so I think I'll talk about that a little bit. Just because it's very interesting to a lot of people that apparently very few people have heard of it. Mr. Sanchez, hello, number one. You're my number one guy, man. You're the number one in here. I've got a special treat for you. Just a short, like 2-second one. We're gonna do a man thing and break a little bit of ice. It's nothing spectacular. It's not a spectacularly large piece of ice or anything. There's a couple of them, and they're not that thick, but it'll still be fun. I held off. Oh, hey, just me. Good to see you, buddy. I held off on breaking it, even though I very much wanted to, and I held off just so that I could do it for you guys. Break it for you, for my fans, for my friends, I should say. I don't really feel like I have fans. I got friends. Jeff hates pigs. You want to break some ice? Oh, right. Okay, well, I'm only going to make this a short. I don't know who Rotten Tomato is, but I do know who John Felix is. I'm going to make this a short one anyways, so that'll work out well for everybody. I'm going to break a couple of large pieces of ice, and then I'm just going to talk a little bit about Missoula flood while I walk to the store. And then I'll probably end it and join you guys over there watching John Felix. He has the coolest name, Felix. If I had to change my name, go into the witness protection program, I might have to choose Felix for a last name. John Felix, 009, Agent 009. I don't know, maybe John could get changed, but... Alright, we're going to break some ice, do a manly thing here, and then I'm going to walk to the store, and then we're going to call it good. And I'm quickly going to talk about the Missoula flood because it is fascinating. Anybody who doesn't know what the Missoula flood is, it actually refers to about 22 different floods that have happened over the cycles of the earth, at the end of the ice ages. Basically what happens is they happen in the Pacific Northwest area here, and they're called the Missoula flood because where there's an ice dam is in Missoula, Montana. On the other side of that ice dam is during the ice age, builds up a humongous lake, the second biggest known body of fresh water ever to exist on the planet. I can't remember now what the first largest one was. It's the largest movement of fresh water ever known on the planet. And yeah, basically what happens is the center of the United States, or a large chunk of it, becomes a huge lake, or several states, and a very deep lake, second largest body of fresh water ever known on the planet. And what happens is because of the ice age, there's an ice dam. You can trace the shores of this lake around mountaintops around the U.S. and it's impressive in its size. And what happens is the only place where the shoreline gets cut off, where it's broken, is there in Missoula, Montana, where there's a pass. And when that pass doesn't have ice blocking it up, it wouldn't allow this lake to form. But with the ice blocking that pass, it allows this humongous lake to form, and it's all held by that ice. Now what happens is a day comes after the end of the ice, near the end of the ice age, where it gets warm enough that one day that dam just kind of breaks free, lifts up, and falls over, and that whole entire giant lake, they say it would be a wall of water over 5 to 600 feet above the top of the Columbia Gorge here, which I don't know if you've seen the Columbia Gorge. It's like the Grand friggin' Canyon in some places. 500 feet above that, coming across Idaho from Montana and from the lake there and all the center of the United States, washing across Idaho, picking up all their igneous rocks there and washing it all across the Pacific Northwest here. They say that the Native Americans in the area would have been able to hear this thing coming for 4 or 5 hours, but they wouldn't have known what was coming for them. They would have just heard like a deep bass rumbling, and the water would have taken several days to empty out into the Pacific Ocean, going overland out through here. So that's why anytime that you dig around here, there's there's just rocks in the ground, just rocks. It's all you hit, like every 2 centimeters. And they're not rocks from here. They're igneous rocks from Idaho. And that's also why we have such a big problem with radon in the ground here, because those are basically radioactive. They have radon isotopes in them or whatever, and they make a radon gas. And most places in the country, it would be condemned if they had the same readings that we just have normally here in this area. It can't be helped, basically. It's bad. But there's a boulder in the Columbia Gorge, perched on a ledge that's about the size of. Oh, gotta turn this around. It's about the size of maybe this house on the left that you can see there in the center. And it's the largest known object ever moved by fresh water. If you think about how much it takes to move a large boulder in a river, how much water it takes to move a large... it's a lot of water. So you imagine moving a boulder that size, and the whole Eastern Oregon desert is just strewn with these gigantic boulders that this flood moved. It's really impressive to get out there and take a look at it. So the part of the interesting story about that is it was always thought that the Eastern Oregon had been formed by wind, but there was a math professor from PSU here in Portland who his favorite place was to go out there in Eastern Oregon desert and the gorge. He just loved it out there. And this was in the 1940s, I believe. And he was out there and he was looking around, and he was no geologist, but he was looking and he was like, obviously what I'm looking at here, this is not wind formed. This is water formed damage that I'm looking at here. This is geology here has been formed by massive amounts of water moving over here. And so he actually gathered all this proof and evidence of what he was saying, and he scheduled this. He was going to give this brilliant speech, here to some group of scientists or whatever, and he did so, and he basically got booed off the stage. His reputation got ruined, and it was just he was made fun of in scientific journals everywhere. And the funny thing is, he was right, and he was proven to be right a few years later when somebody first discovered, oh, hey, there is a lake shoreline up in these mountains, and I'm in Virginia, basically, or somewhere way over there, and I'm going to trace the edges of this lake and figure out where this lake was. And they did so, and they realized that, oh, this math teacher who had been laughed out of academia, basically, had been correct, that the geology in Eastern Oregon is formed by massive amounts of water moving, not wind. And it's not from the river in the past. So again, this is 22 different times this flood has happened when they refer to the Missoula flood, at least 22 different times. The last time being around 12,000 years ago. And that also explains why they always had difficulty finding Native American remains in this area that were older than a certain age. Because, again, the natives in the area would have been able to hear this thing coming for 4 or 5 hours, maybe more, and they wouldn't have known what was coming for them. A wall of water 500 or 600 feet above the top of the gorge. Hey, Skipjack. Hey, you get a mod wrench. That's so you can go around and hook up with everybody here, just like you know. All right. Good to see you there. Let's see who else we got here. Oh, we got Kinetics. We got Brent Shimko. Cool. Jeff Hates Pigs. Just me doing YouTube. I don't know how many people are still here. Looks like 4. So I'm having a very slow day today. I think it's because of the John Felix debate that's starting in a few minutes, and that's why I'm going to make this short. So first, we're going to have a little bit of fun while I'll finish talking about the flood here. But let's have a little bit of fun right now, and let's break some ice. Yeah, they're just little pieces, but it'll be fun. Little pieces out of little garbage cans, basically. Okay, there's piece number 1. The men in here will understand the appeal. Okay, here we go. Let's go right here, next to my home. My old home, my old van that I lived in as a homeless person. I'll probably talk about that, my adventures as a homeless person, next time, or my adventures at university, one of the two. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Bam! Oh, that was satisfying. Look at that. That was so satisfying. I got it to hit flat, just perfect. Hey there. I don't necessarily know you, but a Kenny Fisherman is good with me. So you get added as a moderator. Make sure and go around and hook up with everybody here. If you're a troll or something that's fooling me, that's fine. We'll get you back later. Karma will get you later. That was a good chatter, I thought. We got one more to go here. And I'm going to set some stuff out here tonight so that tomorrow or the next day or whatever, I got another one of these to do for you, because that was fun. Oh, no! Man, the thing sunk. I busted it already. I ruined it for everyone. WassamattaU ruined it for everybody, as usual. Okay, wait. Maybe there's one over here. Nope, there's not one there. It's weird how some of them... Let's see here. Let me see if I can figure out what the difference is. The plastic ones here, they have... and the metal ones don't. That's interesting. I would think it'd be the opposite. Like this old metal wood holder, you know, firewood carrier thing. It doesn't have a sheet on it. This one was awfully thin anyways on this garbage can. Okay, wait a second. There's a little bit left. Oh no, see, that would have been worthless anyways. I can't even pick it up, it breaks. Okay, so I didn't mess with it. I didn't ruin it for everybody. So you can kiss it. Nobody can blame me. Nobody can blame me for ruining it for everybody now. I didn't do it. I'll take a quick glancy poo around the yard here, and we'll get walking to the store, and then I'll get ready to stop this stream so we can all go watch John Felix tear up some fool that he's going to be debating. Let's just make a quick run around the hood, the yard, and let's see. I made these pots back in the day, a long time ago, 25 years ago or something. I made that pot out of an old tire and rim. I'm sure you've probably seen those since then, but at the time that I did that, that was actually pretty unique. I made them in all different sizes, and I sold them for 45 bucks a pop, which doesn't sound like a lot now. And it is a BITCH, turning those tires inside out after you cut them. Luckily, I had a reciprocating saw to make the cuts with. I've seen people do it by hand. And I've also done it by hand as well, because I've done scalloped, like rounded scalloped ones. And for some reason, the jigsaw and the reciprocating saw just weren't, that I had at the time, just weren't cutting it. But anyways, so it is a bitch to turn it inside out once you get it cut. But 45 bucks may not sound like a lot today, but back then, that was the same as like 150 bucks today. So I could bang them things out and sell them and make good monies. But what I don't see here, what I was hoping to see and I don't see, is any more significant breakable ice. Well, there's a little bit here. We can have a little bit of fun. Here we go. That was sucky. Okay, that was sucky. I didn't hit that one flat enough. Okay, here we go. Needs to be a harder surface too, I think. How about on one of these bricks? One of these bricks. Here we go. Yeah. Not nearly as satisfying as the first, but still a blast. And now I know tomorrow or the next day we're going to be having great fun. I'm going to bring out every flat, shallow thing that I got and fill it up with water. And we're going to have a live stream where I'm just breaking ice. That first one was actually very satisfying, I thought. You know what? I haven't even looked in on my worm farm. I'm a bad worm daddy. I am a bad worm father there. Okay, they're fine. They're fine. Okay, I should probably throw some newspaper up in there or something. All right, we're gonna start walking to the store, but I'm gonna end this pretty soon. I know there are people that want to go over to John P. Labs, so I don't blame you all for leaving me. I'm not gonna be hurt. I'm not gonna be butt hurt. I'm not gonna be a butt hurt pig, like the butt hurt pigs always are. I refuse to do that. I refuse to act like them. So I'm gonna walk and we'll finish the talk about the Missoula flood really quick, and then I'll end it here. So yeah, this math teacher was basically laughed out of academia, shunned. Turned out he was right. And boy, I don't know why, I can just relate to that. My whole life seems like I've been dealing with that kind of crap from ignoramuses who like to, yeah, well, whatever. Anyways, that sounds petty. I'm not going to continue that thought, but whatever. Yeah, so he was laughed out of academia, and he was right. They found the edges of the lake by tracing it around mountaintops, and they realized, oh my goodness, this was... Oh, hey, Lynn, you got freezing rain in North Carolina? Wow. Would not have guessed that. John P. Yo, hey, what's up? Tuesday morning, USA time. John P. will be talking about the miracle of the sun on Cafe Mornings. Okay. All right. Yes, Brent, I'm on my way to the store to buy my own death, to buy myself some cancer sticks here. That is indeed what I'm doing. And I shouldn't, but I will. So he was laughed out of academia. Turned out he was correct. And like I said, they traced the edges of this lake around, and they realized this was at the time that I learned about this, I was told it was the largest body of fresh water ever known to exist on the planet. Look at that dead spot. Why would I have a dead spot out here? I'm pretty sure everyone here is probably subscribed to and aware of who John P. is. Everyone be ready for that. John, you missed it. I broke some ice. I broke the ice a few minutes ago by breaking some ice, and it was grand fun. And we're going to be doing that here probably tomorrow on my live stream. So it's a big flat chunks of ice. It's very satisfying. Oh, hey, Jeff. My name is Jeff. His name is Jeff. Okay. And so, yeah, the largest movement of fresh water ever known on the planet. It moved. I think I got cut off right then when I pointed to the house, but it moved a boulder that's perched down in the gorge. It's about the size of this house to my left right here. And it's you can look it up. It's perched on a ledge in the gorge. It's the largest known, heaviest known object to ever be moved by fresh water, known of, that we're aware of. And in the ground here, when you dig in the ground here, you see these rocks that are on the surface here, these medium-sized, golf ball to baseball sized rocks. That's basically, that and larger is all you hit when you try to dig here. It's incredibly difficult to dig here and unpleasant anywhere here, because we're just sitting on a pile of Idaho's igneous rocks from Idaho, which again, they make radon that basically makes our houses here like condemn worthy if they were in other places. And it also means that if we have that earthquake that they say is coming to this part of the world, we're going to be in trouble, because that earthquake in California in the 80s that was so devastating, that was on flat bedrock. This earthquake is supposed to be many, many times that, and we're not on bedrock. We're sitting on a big old pile of gravel, basically. And when that earthquake hits, it's going to be like if you had a mock city in a bowl, a big round shallow bowl of dirt, and you picked that up with both hands and you just threw it up into the air and caught it again, and there's buildings underneath the dirt at that point and some on top, but everything is just destroyed. And again, things are going to be buried, like skyscrapers will be buried and things like that. That's what's gonna likely happen here if we have an earthquake like that, because we're sitting on all that stuff, and it's not good stuff to be sitting on when in an earthquake. Now, where I am here on the ridge, I would be a little bit safer because this is basically a big stone ridge of rock that juts out and overlooks the city. Where we look down our noses at the rest of the city from up here. We say, what are those peons? What are those peons doing down there? Those criminal peons doing down there? And yeah, so it wouldn't be as bad here, but it does make for a dicey situation for Portland, especially downtown. The whole downtown would probably be completely unrecognizable after any kind of a sizable earthquake. Again, with skyscrapers buried, things like that. I've seen models before made by geologists of what's going to happen if we have a large earthquake here because of the way that the ground is, because of the Missoula floods, which again actually refers to about 20 to 22 different floods that have happened over time with the geological cycles and at the end of the ice ages, when it gets warm enough, that ice dam lifts up, and that gigantic lake that takes up a good chunk of the middle of the United States just comes pouring through that gap in Missoula, Montana, and right out, across Idaho, across Oregon and Washington, and into the Pacific Ocean. A wall of water 500 to 600 feet above the top of the gorge. That would take days. They said it would take days, if not, I can't remember if it was even maybe a week or something, but I think it was 4 days or something that they estimated that it would take of that much water running across through here for the lake to empty completely. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating thought. And once you have knowledge of that and you re-examine the gorge here and the geology that you see with that knowledge in mind, I just blew my nose and it was a little bit yellow looking. I hope I'm not getting sick. Okay, anyways, that wasn't good. So yeah, when you're looking around with that knowledge as your kind of your base knowledge for what you're looking at, things make a lot more sense. I don't know why the academia was so resistant to the idea of that being wind damage out there initially. I guess just because it goes to show you how much science is really worth and how objective it really is, because every scientist at that presentation should have been convinced by the evidence. It was clear. The people who wrote the nasty articles and shunned that poor man should have known better, but they didn't, because they have their theories, and it's usually more important to them to stick to their theories than to find the truth. Okay, I'm at the store right now. I don't know if the reception's gonna last. Can I get Lucky Strike 99s? And yeah, I don't know if John has started yet, John Felix. If so, I don't blame anybody for bailing out on me to go there. John Felix is a lot more charismatic, good looking, younger. Is he younger? No, he's older. Yeah, same age basically. But he's a lot more charismatic and entertaining than me, so I'm not gonna take it personally for anybody that goes there. Has that begun yet? Does anybody know? He used to move boulders with a track loader. Well, I heard you move boulders with your mind there, Jeff. You just don't like to tell people, because everybody's recruiting you to come and do work in their yard and stuff. I don't know, that was the lamest joke of all time right there. Still came out of my mouth. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. I'm not a crook. Well, I am a crook, or at least a criminal, but has Felix started yet? I think I'm going to go ahead and end this just in case that's the case, and that's why I can't get a striggity straight answer to all my friends who've abandoned me. All right, I'm going to go look for Felix. Thanks for coming to my stream, everybody. Good to see you all again. And, okay. Okay, it started. Okay, bye-bye.